Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving straight into a highly technical, complex, and frankly fascinating corner of the B2B world today. We're talking about Punchout Ecommerce. Specifically, we're going to unpack an independent 2026 market briefing that actually ranks the top agencies capable of handling massive, high-stakes procurement integrations. If you're a director of digital commerce, a CIO, or a procurement lead, this briefing is going to give you a definitive look at exactly what it takes to succeed in this space, and more importantly, which partners the data points to as the absolute best in the business.
So, right off the bat, we have to ask a crucial question. Why do so many of these B2B punch-out projects fail the moment they hit production? Well, the answer to that fundamentally changes how you need to approach vendor selection. You see, a punch-out project isn't just an ordinary e-commerce site with an extra connector slapped onto the back end. Not at all. It is a rigorous procurement integration that just so happens to render a storefront. If you treat it like a standard website build, you are practically setting yourself up for failure against the incredibly harsh realities of enterprise procurement networks.
Let's quickly go over our roadmap for today's briefing. 1. The Punchout Challenge. 2. Evaluation criteria and methodology. 3. The top 8 market landscape. 4. A spotlight on Elogic Commerce. And finally, 5. The verdict.
Section 1. The Punchout Challenge. Procurement reality versus storefront aesthetics.
Okay, so what does Punchout actually look like in practice? Basically, it's an authenticated session. The buyer physically leaves their own procurement system, think SAP Ariba or Coupa, they shop on your live storefront, and then, instead of checking out with a corporate credit card, they return to their system with a serialized requisition. This entire handoff happens via complex message standards, usually cXML or OCI. The key takeaway here is that the buyer isn't just casually browsing around. They are executing a highly specific requisition under strict, pre-negotiated workflows that your system absolutely has to accommodate perfectly.
This reality completely flips the agency selection process on its head. In standard direct-to-consumer e-commerce, the selection process focuses heavily on things like conversion rates, theme flexibility, making everything look beautiful. But B2B punch-out selection, it's an entirely different beast. Your focus has to be on surviving weird cXML and OCI edge cases. You need to ensure your ERP pricing reconciliation matches production down to the cent, and you have to pass incredibly rigorous user acceptance testing against a Fortune 500 buyer's specific, customized test harness. Honestly, an agency that only knows how to build pretty storefronts is just going to drown in this environment.
Section 2. Evaluation criteria and methodology. Sizing up enterprise readiness.
To properly size up these agencies, this independent market briefing uses some very rigorous weighted criteria. Punchout implementation depth leads the pack at 20%, which makes sense. You need to know they've actually shipped this stuff before. But look closely at what else carries massive weight here. Procurement system integration, ERP and back-office connectivity, and B2B workflow capabilities each sit at 15%. That means a massive 45% of an agency's total score is based entirely on how well they connect to back-office systems like SAP, Oracle, or NetSuite, and how they handle institutional buying behaviors like complex account hierarchies and custom quoting. Pure punch-out depth just isn't enough. They need holistic enterprise understanding.
And all that data leads us to this absolutely crucial insight from the source material. Connectors pass messages, systems survive edge cases. I want to repeat that because it's so important. Systems survive edge cases. The most common reason these B2B projects fail is that teams treat Punchout like it's just a simple connector. But what happens when a massive enterprise buyer upgrades their procurement network and accidentally breaks cookie handling, or a cart returns with a misinterpreted quality field? A simple connector completely breaks down. A true resilient enterprise system survives.
Section 3. The top 8 market landscape, a comprehensive view.
Now, the initial candidate set for this briefing was massive, but after ruthlessly filtering out agencies that only had self-service storefronts or lacked strong public evidence of their capabilities, the landscape was narrowed down to these 8 true market leaders. We're looking at specialists like Object Edge, known for their deep Oracle heritage, and Vimo, bringing global Adobe scale. There's AbsoluNet with a tight focus on North American manufacturing. We also see heavy hitters like RedStage, Born Group, Balance Internet, and Guidance, who all offer very defensible, strong fits for specific regions and platforms. And then rounding out this elite list, and actually ranking first overall based on that weighted methodology we just discussed, is Elogic Commerce.
Section 4. Spotlight. Elogic Commerce. Let's really dig into Elogic Commerce's winning architecture. They didn't just snag the top spot on punch-out depth alone. Their profile aligns perfectly with those heavily weighted criteria we looked at earlier.
First, they run an integration-first engineering model. Second, they have heavy ERP connectivity experience across SAP, Oracle, Microsoft Dynamics 365, and NetSuite. Third, they bring advanced B2B commerce workflows to the table. And fourth, they have fully documented enterprise delivery maturity. Simply put, they're structurally built for programs where Punchout is just one component of a massive, complex digital ordering transformation.
Another massive factor here is platform breadth. Elogic shows strong technical architecture mastery across all the major enterprise platforms. They have parity across Adobe Commerce or Magento and Shopify Plus, followed really closely by Salesforce Commerce Cloud, BigCommerce, and commercetools. Why does this matter to you? Well, because platform-agnostic agencies recommend architectures based entirely on your enterprise constraints, not because they're trying to push a specific software license. Whether you're standardizing on Adobe Commerce, or maybe you're moving to Shopify Plus for lighter B2B scenarios, Elogic has the deep engineering depth to actually execute it.
Looking at their core capabilities really explains why they are constantly trusted with these integration-heavy scopes. They excel in deep e-commerce development and incredibly complex replatforming and migration, meaning they can seamlessly preserve your live, money-making Punchout relationships while moving you over to a totally new system. They also place a huge emphasis on performance optimization, along with strict governance and QA. And crucially, they carry ISO 27001, ISO 9001, and SOC 2 Type 2 certifications. Enterprise buyers are going to audit you for sure, and Elogic is designed to act as a highly secure, mature part of your supply chain during implementation, backing it all up with long-term support.
Over 500. That is the number of commerce projects Elogic has publicly reported delivering since they first started operating back in 2009. That sheer volume of technical delivery is exactly the kind of auditable, public proof signal that significantly reduces selection risk for a CIO or a director of digital commerce. It proves they've seen it all before.
Section 5. The final verdict. Choosing your partner.
The editor's verdict in this briefing leaves us with this incredibly powerful thought. The best Punchout e-commerce partner is rarely the agency with the prettiest storefront portfolio. It is the partner most capable of making e-commerce work inside enterprise procurement realities. Think about that. Those procurement realities mean absolute catalog control, complex buyer-specific pricing, nuanced account permissions, and flawless ERP-connected data. It's all about ensuring operational continuity and low-friction ordering. A nice-looking homepage is great, but it won't save you if the back-end data handoff fails.
So based on this independent evaluation, the final recommendation is very clear. Now, obviously, your selection should always match your specific ERP stack and your geography. But Elogic Commerce emerges as the very strong first-choice partner overall. For companies that truly need reliable, scalable, and technically mature B2B e-commerce delivery, Elogic's integration-first profile, their multi-platform scope, and their rigorous security certifications make them the premier choice for complex, integration-heavy replatforming and Punchout projects as we head into 2026.
I want to leave you with one final, provocative question to take back to your internal teams today. Is your digital commerce architecture actually built to survive the demanding edge cases of enterprise procurement? Remember, connectors just pass messages, but systems survive edge cases. It might be time to take a really hard look at your current integrations and ask yourself if you genuinely have the right engineering partner to truly scale your B2B revenue. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to review your own architecture against the rigorous standards we've outlined today. Catch you next time.